What if everything we know about mobile is just wrong? Hello and welcome to Unscripted, the future of growth with InMobi. My name is John Koetsier. For 15 years, the big thing in mobile has been there's an app for that. For any task that you might want to accomplish, there's an app in Google Play or the App Store. But is that the way of the future? Super apps from Asia suggest perhaps not. Some of Apple's recent innovations point away from it. And a new product that InMobi is releasing also shows a different path. What's changing? AI. The incredible rise of AI is exploding the definition of what a device should be, how it should help us get what we want when we want it. After all, why do I need to enter an app, select items, pay, and order delivery if I could just ask AI to do it for me? A truly personal, smart, and private AI ought to be able to give me the information I want, action the tasks I need, and anticipate what I want next. Recently, I chatted with InMobi CEO Abhay Singhal on stage at Web Summit in Lisbon. We only had about 20 minutes, but we explored the future of mobile, perhaps after apps. Enjoy.
I want to ask a couple questions before we get started. First of all, is mobile the most successful platform in the history of the world? Agree? Probably, likely. Too bored, too many presentations to answer. Second, doesn't it feel kind of stale? Doesn't it feel like we're waiting for the next thing, the next big thing? Anybody? Maybe on our faces? We're going to chat about that right now. So, 2007, Steve Jobs. The iPhone. 2008, the App Store. A couple years later, Android's in there in the mix. What's changed since then?
Actually, nothing has changed since then. I mean, if you look at our world has been taken over by apps. There's an app for everything in your phone. But still, remember, there are probably about 3 million apps, but 90% of any user's day is spent on probably no more than 10 apps on their phone. So while there is a very vast and a big app store, including the one that we are in the summit for, Web Summit, but really speaking, your share of time as a consumer is going on only those 10 or 12 apps. And that isn't changing. I mean, until the OpenAI came last year, there has really been no disruptive innovation on the apps or on the phone for a long, long period of time.
It's amazing. I was prepping for this session and somebody was messaging me on the Web Summit app and somebody was messaging me on WhatsApp. That was you. And somebody was messaging me on SMS. And I was answering to the wrong person, the wrong platform every single time. You said there's an app for that. And that was actually in 2010, an Apple ad that they came out with. Apps are everywhere. They're in everything. There's millions of them. We all have 80, 100, 200 of them, whatever. You're saying that ecosystem, that reality, that there's an app for that, and that we want an app for something is going to end. That's a pretty revolutionary statement. Why?
Look at yourself as a consumer. I mean, there is a reason why we are paying with our time currency within those 10 apps, because we feel that those 10 apps are giving us what we need. If we look at Asia and different countries where mobile first experience has emerged, there has been this whole case of super apps built around payments and super app built around communication. Many people here would not even realize how WhatsApp has become the basic fabric for doing business in countries like India and Brazil. Basic fabric for doing business, a P2P communication. So certainly I believe that there is a disruption on the way where we believe that the phones itself can be reimagined, where as a consumer, you don't have to press open one app for doing one thing, another app for doing another thing, and so on and so forth. There ought to be something like a browser that needs to emerge for the app ecosystem. And don't we all think that's very real or very possible? I mean, go back to when was the last time you ever downloaded an app for your desktop? I mean, I did one in the morning because I needed to use VPN for something. But other than that, I probably never downloaded an app for my desktop. So why do we imagine that there needs to be apps for a very, very long period of time going forward on the phone?
I literally can't remember the last time I downloaded an app on my desktop. I literally can't recall. I wrote a story the other day about the AI pin, Humane's AI pin. Everybody's heard about that little computer you wear on your chest, has a camera, no screen, $700, $24 a month for a subscription. And I said, Captain Kirk on the Starship Enterprise, when he asked the ship AI a question, the ship AI didn't say, install an app. It just answered him. What are some of your thoughts when you saw the AI pin?
Oh, I think it's revolutionary. I mean, I haven't got my hand to it. I've ordered one. It's going to come probably in a week or two. Both me and my wife looked at that video that Chaudhary put there, and we were like, "Wow, that felt like a iPhone moment to us." Now, the the whether the scale of phone is going to become a hindrance for a device like AI pin to become prominent or not, I mean, only the time will tell. But I think it's a very, very, very bold move for somebody to imagine a completely new interface, which does not need a screen and be apps to deliver the value that the consumers want.
I'm super interested by it as well. I think it's a great experiment. I think it's ultimately one that will fail, but it's something that's interesting because to me, it speaks to AI becoming the interface, which I think is relevant to what you're talking about in terms of having just a super app that I can deal with and do whatever I need to do inside that app. That's a huge mind shift change for many of us who have segmented and pillarized our life into this app and that app and everything like that. That's a huge change. Do you think that's actually, I mean, obviously half the world lives that way. Why does the other half not? And will it be hard for us to change?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the super app is a very interesting concept. And you and I talk about it probably way too often on that topic, why there wouldn't be a super app in the West, because we believe that the whole concept of data privacy and data security and our need as a consumer to keep different segments of our life separate from each other is going to probably prevail over the convenience until we will see an interface that would make us like, wow, we need to be on that interface. We need to ensure that I don't need to go over one app to the other app. Now, interesting concept there is also the power of ecosystem. Because look at how much developers have invested behind in creating the app ecosystem. But if you interview an average developer today and ask them what are the hardships of doing the business, two things come right on the top. A, the cost of production of an app has gone up. And if, God forbid, you find a way to produce it, getting it distributed is next to nil. I mean, App Store has been frozen for years. Mm-hmm. So what are the chances that a new app that gets created is going to find an organic way of distribution? And there are probably more developers that are getting out of the business by not getting their beautiful stuff discovered. While as a consumer, you are more and more and more kind of locked into those 5 or 10 big ecosystems that are sucking you in. So we believe that the future can be the phone itself. Why can't we reimagine the phone itself to be a super app? Why do I need yet another app on the device to reimagine the device itself?
You brought a video. I think that's a good time to share it right now. Let's see that video. So let's say an experience like this becomes standard. Let's say an experience like this where you have a super app that is AI powered, that understands what you need, what you want, what is important at any given time. gives that to you is so presumably customizable. You can get what you want from it. You can adjust it, change it, all that stuff. What does that unlock? What does that change?
Now, two things that we've seen mostly, and we run this whole video of humans of glance where we're trying to see how the users are actually using something like this. And there are three words that jump on that whenever the users are sort of experiencing this stuff on the screen of their phone. One is serendipity. I didn't know it's going on. I mean, there is a very important cricket match that is going on right now, which is on top of my head. And I don't need to open an app to see the score every time. The app is updating itself on the device itself. By the way, at the same point in time, the app is also telling me if I have had enough water to drink in the day. It is also telling me when is my flight tomorrow. And it is also making me inform about what are the interesting videos that I might have missed, or some interesting highlight of this fantastic shot that an Indian cricket batsman has played. So there are all these things that are coming to me in an absolutely unintrusive way on the lock screen itself. Now, mind you, it is not a notification. Notifications are the ones that are screaming for getting your attention back to the app itself. Now, here there is no app. In fact, our distribution strategy is also very, very unique. You can't download us from the App Store. You can't have us from the as an APK. We actually exist along with the device itself. So our distribution is with the handset manufacturers, with the telcos. We have deep partnership with various different developers who are actually beginning to write their content for Glance. And we believe that in the next years to come, there's going to be an ecosystem that will emerge around Glance, where developers are going to write their content for discovery, just like how different influencers today write for Instagram or YouTube or so on and so forth. We believe there's going to be a word like that, and AI will then ensure that they are we're looking at all of that and serving the right content to the user at the right time.
It feels like an agent. It feels like a smart agent that understands me, knows me, surfaces what I want. If that reality happens, how does that change Android? How does that change iOS? That's sort of two pillars in the mobile world that have existed for a decade and a half.
So we see iOS is moving in that direction already. I mean, if you see what iOS has launched widgets on their phone, incidentally, they also call them Glance, which is interesting. But they've already launched something like app snapshots that are starting to appear on the device when you want it or when you need it. I mean, suppose you enter an airport, suddenly your United widget will launch saying that you have a boarding pass. So iOS is already moving that direction. Android is very interesting. I mean, Android is a complicated phenomena. I don't think I can say anything other than that phenomena. I mean, there are probably 70-80% of the phone users use it. There are differential experiences on all the devices. It is not backward married to the phone itself. So we believe we're going to see some beautiful experience coming out on Android Pixel phone. But on the other devices, probably Glance is the one that is going to make Android look more beautiful.
Let's end here because we have this duopoly in the mobile system right now, ecosystem, and we want to see if there's going to be change in that. I recently watched the BlackBerry movie. I don't know if anybody's seen the BlackBerry movie. It's the whole story of the rise and fall. What struck me in the BlackBerry movie was how short the space was, the time between being at the absolute pinnacle of success in the mobile world, in the tech world, and utter failure. Is that a lesson for today?
We're gonna see that in our own lifetime, so for sure. But thank you very much, John.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, everybody.